But the only way you'll do the very best for God is learn to rest in his presence until whatever it is you need to do is supplied for you to do it. It's hard. It can be very hard. You know, I sometimes watch Christian television and I have to cry. I'll be honest with you, I just have to cry. And I think, God, we need to be there. We really do. We need to have the voice. We need to have the angel, the messenger, the voice of God going out over these airwaves. But I'm not going to try to make it happen. But it will happen. It will happen. I don't think it's going to be very long. I think people are getting tired of Christian television. And I have nothing against those people are only doing what they know to do. You know, I said a seed reproduces after its own kind. So how can I fault you if you're raised a Baptist and you have a Baptist consciousness and you think speaking in tongues is of the devil, you know? How can I fault you for that? Because I've been in a lot of beliefs that I thought were, absolutely God, but find out later on, well, that's not necessarily right. We are all progressively having a revealing and an unveiling of Christ within us. And as that happens, we change. We literally, our concepts change. The whole concept of God begins to just fall at our feet. And we realize, God, you weren't anything like I thought you were. You're not anything like the preachers told me you were. You're the most wonderful, magnificent. And to think that everything that you are, I am. As I begin to focus on the reality of who I am. There's a life in us that has never known death. There is a life in us that has never known sin. When I first read 1 John, and he said, he that is born of God does not commit sin, neither indeed can he, because he's born of God. The first time I read that, I wanted to go get saved again. I didn't think, because I was sinning like crazy. But one day I realized that which is born of God is our human spirit. That which is born of God, that new creation, man on the inside of us, it's impossible for that life to sin. Absolutely impossible. Has no consciousness of sin or disobedience or, all of that junk. It's just alive and vibrating with the energy and the essence of God. And that life in us wants only one thing, just one. It wants to reproduce itself in every human being that it meets. And it will do it without preaching. It will do it without quoting scripture. The very essence of who you are will bring change to those around you. It will. On the job, I have literally experienced the atmosphere changing over a period of time without me preaching a word to anybody. But I used to go in early in the morning, a couple hours before anybody else got to work. And I would just talk to God, and I would just speak life over that place, and I would just bless everyone that would enter that place. And I'll tell you, the whole atmosphere around me changed. Not overnight. I worked there 6 years. But it came to a point when I could sit down in the office at lunchtime and all the guys would gather around me and just listen to me, share with them. Not religion, but the reality of his substance. Because they have it. Everyone has all that God is. And people say once in a while, they say, Gary, are you saying you're God? Oh, that's a good question. And I have to say, yes And no. Because I explain it like this, and I heard this from Stacy Wood, because I never really had an explanation for what I knew. I just didn't. But you can go down to the ocean, to the beach here, get a cup of water, and in that cup is all the substance, all the elements, everything that the ocean is in that cup, but that cup is not all of the ocean. So you have a lot of people running around today saying, I am God, I am this, and I am that. And there's no double-mindedness, and there's only one. You have all of these sayings. And you know what? There's truth in it. Because everything that God is, all of his wonderful expression and love and compassion, everything that God is within me. But I'm not all that God is. And even Jesus said, my Father is greater than I. So, you know, this thing about being God can be a big ego trip too. But when you really come into the substance of his life, you could never be proud. You can only fall at his feet and worship him. Oh, Father, I'm so thankful. Oh, God, how grateful I am to realize that everything that you are, all of your substance, all of your divine life and nature has been locked up in me for so many years. But God, how grateful and how thankful I am that the essence of your being is now being expressed. Maybe not very much, but it's such an encouragement when you begin to not have bitterness towards those who abuse you. When you can stand in the face of opposition, and you can hear even preachers across the land today are saying, Gary Sigler is New Age. Gary Sigler is mixing New Age doctrine with kingdom theology. Doesn't matter what they say about you, because you know they're only doing what they believe. They're just as sincere as you or I.